Good evening. My name's Sean again. This week we are discussing utilitarianism on two topics. One, a student who was raped and considering abortion, and two, whether the president of the college should call a voting of confidence, so to speak, in whether or not to allow open carry on their campus if there's a 90% vote against it. Um, so I've tried really hard, and I am absolutely against abortion, so my absolute goal in this was to find a way that utilitarianism supports abortion. So I broke this down multiple different times, trying to consider all the options, and I found it very difficult whether it's for or against it, to be honest with you. For any of the circumstances where the baby was aborted, I automatically gave it a -10 because the baby's net pleasure is 0 to -10 because he'll never have the chance, or she'll never have the chance, to experience pleasure past what they experience in the womb. But at the same time, I started to dig a lot deeper into it of net pleasure for that student's mother and father, financial burden, short term, long term. And, I can see on a utilitarian basis where, as a long term thing, that yes, abortion would be the correct answer, uh, considering all of cost, burdens, how's it going to affect the education, how's it going to affect her family life, how is her, social life going to fare? Will she ever be able to be married? I mean, let's say that she's a strong woman of faith, and she wants to marry a man of faith who wants to marry somebody who doesn't already have a child. I mean, there's a lot of conflicting things that can come into play with this. At the same time, I went ahead and did it, against the abortion too, and what kind of experiences is this woman going to have for the rest of her life, having that aborted child weighing on her conscience? Is it something that'll affect her down the road? Is it something that'll affect her future ability to have children because something, went wrong during the abortion, which does happen? Uh, you know, is it going to ultimately exceed net pleasure because she has the child and the child is, a wonderful child, does great things through their life, the financial burdens and the hardships that come with it, outweigh the negatives. Um, and again, I broke this down about 30 different times number wise, and it's really hard to assign a pleasure or a negative to some of these aspects because there's always more to think into it. Uh, so on that one, I'll leave it at that. For the CHL, I broke it down into two different groups. One that is net pleasure for the staff and all their future students, because a happier staff means happier students. But at the same time, I broke it down against that vote of confidence because there's more students in the university than there are staff and faculty. So it seems unfair for a net pleasure of everyone overall to have a vote that everyone's not a part of, especially since the vote that everyone was a part of has already determined that it is legal in this state, and so we should allow it in this state. Uh, so, I mean, that right there shows utilitarianism at its best. Uh, However, you can talk back to, well, the instructors and the staff are against it by a 90% vote, so with their net pleasure being raised, it'll thus raise the net pleasure of the students because they're more lenient, they're more willing to work with the students. They actually teach better because they're in an environment that is safer in their minds. And so everyone actually prospers. The students are more successful, there's higher grades and GPAs, students get better jobs after college. So, you flip the table again, and utilitarianism is now against it. Uh, that's what I find to be difficult about utilitarianism is if you look hard enough, you can find a net pleasure for either side and make it outweigh whatever viewpoint you're looking at. It's just a matter of how you want to look through the hourglass, in my opinion. No different than you said, try to look at this from an outside perspective. Well, that was easy for me. What was hard for me is finding out which one makes the most sense. because I can sit here and talk to three different people and find three different opinions on which applies the most pleasure. Um, like always, I'm running about 10-15 seconds over. I hope this covered everything, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to next week.